Okay. Little emergency stream for you on today when we typically don't go live. We were getting ready for a supporter stream, but then DEEBO got his bag.
That's right, and that's still happening, by the way. So if you are supporting part of Patreon, that's going to happen right after this. But yes, DEEBO does get paid 3-year, $73.5 million deal. I know everyone was questioning whether he was going to stay, whether he was going to go. Was he going to sit out the during preseason? What was going to be the case?
There were even rumors about him potentially wanting to play on the East Coast, that being a big deal. And maybe that's still something that is something that he desires at some point in his career. But at this point, obviously, he's going to be there for, I think, is this a 3-year extension, meaning 4 years? We'd have to double check on that, but he's going to stay with San Francisco. I mean, it doesn't make sense to really move away from a franchise that's ascending like this, but I know family's a big deal for him. But DEEBO Samuel staying in the Bay.
Yeah, and that actually really helped. I think what helped him was DK Metcalf getting signed. A very similar deal, 3 years, $72 million, with $58 million guaranteed, where there's not really that big of a difference. DEEBO had 73, got an extra mil, or extra 100,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then a guaranteed money, I think he also got an extra couple 100,000.
Yeah, Ian Rappaport tweeting out, the 49ers and star weapon DEEBO worked for months and got it done. He lands a huge deal, 3-year extension, $73.5 million max.
Actually, less guaranteed.
Guarantee, yeah, I was going to say the guarantee looks like it's less, which is interesting. He'll be 29 years old on the last year of his deal, which, yeah, he could get another massive contract as well.
This is, so for DEEBO, he got $58.2 million guaranteed. And DEEBO got 58.1.
Do you mean DK? Sorry,
DK. That's what I meant to say. 58.2, and DEEBO got 58.1.
Okay.
But to be fair, as you can see here, DEEBO Samuel is going to be 29. Well, is not going to be 29. He's going to be 29 while entering that last year of his contract. But
yeah,
where
I think that was important for a lot of these guys. Yeah.
Yeah, where DK, what was he going to be? 27, so 2 years younger. But it's
27
still
or 28, I can't remember. But
then
you got Terry, who signed a similar deal, but he'll be in his 30s by the time his contract is over. So it's interesting. A lot of these guys opting for 3-year deals seem like the optimal window to try and go get another big deal done. You see guys like Diggs, Adams going and get these huge deals when they're nearing their 30s. So it's good for him. What's up, Freak Stomper? You must be excited. How much guaranteed? It looks like there is $58.1 million guaranteed for your boy
Million.
DEEBO. Brandon Ayuk is better rapping. Let's see. Badaki's
Yeah,
frozen. Hopefully he's not anymore.
I fixed my camera.
Rapping Dog says they were struggling at camp and had to pay him. Let's talk about the impact, okay? So DEEBO Samuel getting this deal makes me feel even more confident. You guys know I've been a huge Trey Lance supporter. He's been one of my biggest breakouts. It's been Trey Lance, Travis Etienne. Those are the people I've been riding or dying for. And having DEEBO here with this team makes me feel even more confident in Trey Lance. There are times when Trey Lance won't have to do it all. I mean, you can give it to a guy like DEEBO, and whether it's a screen, if he doesn't want to be used as a wide back, that's fine. That's probably going to help a guy like Trey Lance because you're going to get more small pass attempts. But I think this is going to absolutely elevate Trey Lance's game. If you were hesitant on drafting Trey Lance in best ball, in Dynasty drafts, whatever the case may be, I think that this is a huge boost of confidence for you. Now you have some of the best weapons in the NFL. You have DEEBO, you have George Kittle, you have Ayuk as your third, maybe fourth option at time, probably third. But you've also got Elijah Mitchell at the backfield and a whole lot of healthy running backs, a great offensive line. If you need, and one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL. So if there is any time for you to jump on the Trey Lance train, I'm opening up the doors and everyone's welcome.
Yeah, very interesting to see how Ricky says, so is DEEBO going to be used as a running back, wide receiver like he did last year, or
That we don't
slightly
know.
closer? Yeah, we don't know. If I had to put my money on it, I would say why not? I think the reason the reports came out saying he doesn't want to be used as a traditional or as like that hybrid, maybe because he didn't get paid. Maybe that was like the starting point of him saying, you know what, I want to get paid if I'm going to be putting my body at risk like all these running backs.
Yeah.
And I'm playing both roles for you guys. So maybe now with this contract, maybe there's a clause in the contract. Maybe there was a conversation that they had saying, you know what, if you can play the same role that you did this past year or then for the next 3 years, we'll be really excited to have you here. Or maybe DEEBO in that contract or in the contract talks was saying, you know what, just use me as a traditional wide receiver. We actually won't know that until the season starts.
Sure.
But I mean, that's really hard to repeat, I think, in my opinion, what DEEBO did, the touchdowns.
Oh, I agree.
The opportunity. So, I mean, expect progression. Expect something different out of him this year.
Is it safe to say that you and I still think he's a fantastic option, but we do expect some regression, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think either of us are necessarily all in or all out on DEEBO. But would you agree that it definitely elevates Trey Lance's outlook?
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, yes, I do agree that it does elevate Trey Lance's outlook. I mean, he gets the number one back outside of Ayuk, who struggled this past year.
Yeah.
George Kittle struggled with injuries. So, I mean, that's another thing. Can DEEBO stay healthy? This was his first year. He played a full season, was healthy, gets a contract extension, and then you can kind of see that in the chat already.
Yeah, sure. Injury is still a concern. Definitely agree, TP. I don't think Badaki and I really moved DEEBO all that far down in our rankings because of the contract. And now that he's signed this contract, I don't imagine he'll move much for our rankings. I think, again, really the biggest impact is if you're expecting Brandon Ayuk, and I say this respectfully, but if you were expecting Brandon Ayuk to have some breakout year, I find it really hard to see how that happens with DEEBO Samuel on this team. He is one of those players who absolutely demands touches. And Ayuk can still have a really good year, but if you're drafting him in best ball and expecting a breakout year, I don't know how you feel, Badaki, but for me, I don't think we see an incredible year from Brandon Ayuk. There's just not going to be that many opportunities. This team isn't going to pass probably. I mean, there will be games where Trey Lance has 10 to 15 rushing attempts. So I don't see a scenario in which Ayuk now becomes this huge breakout candidate where he's, he can finish as a top 12 guy potentially. I think DEEBO's going to demand too much, touches for that to happen.
I think there is a world and scenario where DEEBO can come back to be some sort of fantasy relevant. He won't be a top.
Do you mean Ayuk?
Sorry, yeah, excuse me. Brandon Ayuk, and I think that's the only way that happens is if Debo gets injured, or if defense really takes him away.
Hmm.
Because last year was not that it was a fluke, but like it was new to see that in the 49ers offense,
Yeah.
the way they used Debo, people were confused. They didn't know everywhere he was on the field. You didn't know if he was going to catch the ball or run the ball. He was running the ball. He was doing jet sweeps. He was in the
Mm.
backfield. He was doing quick screens, whatever the case may be. I think the only way Brandon Ayuk is somewhat fantasy relevant is if Debo gets injured or defenses just completely eliminate him.
Yeah.
Even then, I'm still not excited about
Sure.
about Brandon Ayuk, excuse me. So
Yeah. I still think he's
it's
a good
interesting.
value in Dynasty. In redraft, I'm much more hesitant, but I still like his value in Dynasty. First round draft pick, proven production year one. So don't give up on Ayuk by any means. That's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is lower your expectations for anyone out there who thought breakout year. All right, let's answer some quick questions here. If you could do us a huge favor, drop a like as we just went, just emergency live stream to cover it for you guys. Yes, Jeremy, let's hope that didn't happen too much. Yes, Deshaun Watson suspension news should come tomorrow, apparently, which will be exciting to finally get some clarity on that. I
Yeah.
agree, Freak Stomper. I think he probably is going to get some opportunities. Connor says, I just did a startup draft. I got Chase, CD, Deontay, Gabe Davis, Cam Akers, Joe Mixon, James Conner. Yeah, it's a good team. I don't know who your quarterbacks are. I mean, if it's super flex, we need to know who the QBs are, but it's a good team there.
Yeah, not bad. I like it.
Ayuk can still be top 24. I would say that's his ceiling for sure. Like, that's his absolute ceiling. He feels more like a wide receiver 3 to me, but let's see what happens. I mean, this offense is going to be really good, and I keep saying Trey Lance, dark horse MVP candidate. Let's
Dark
see.
horse MVP.
Let's see. Let's see.
We'll see.
Any live mocks tonight? No, not tonight. However, we have a very exciting announcement we're going to release after this live stream on our Discord. So if you guys want to be part of mock drafts and something new that we're doing tomorrow, we're going to announce it here. I think within the next hour, we're going to make a huge announcement over there on Discord. So if you would like to join us there, find out about that. ATJ says, I wouldn't be surprised if Ayuk had a decent year because let's be real, Deebo wasn't too relevant until the past season. Sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Let's see what happens. Got to see what happens. I think my main thought there is just that I do think Deebo's going to demand targets, and I don't know that we can say the same for Ayuk. I think he's going to be a good complement, but I don't know if he's going to demand targets. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. I 100%. I think I think what really helped Debo last year was that, I mean, what he had? Did he have like 14 touchdowns like in total?
I think so. Yeah.
I remember he had like 8 rushing touchdowns, and I don't remember how many receiving. I think he had like 4, maybe like 12 to 14 ish. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of touchdowns for somebody, and I don't know if that's gonna happen again. And Ayuk really struggled.
You have to expect some regression for sure.
Yeah, Ayuk really struggled this past year. So
even in the red zone, I mean, those opportunities where Deebo gets the sweeps or he's in the backfield, you have a guy like Trey Lance who can operate kind of like different. Josh Allen in the red zone on the goal line, so he could rush them in himself.
Yeah.
But hey guys, we're going to take the next couple minutes. This is just a short live stream to give you guys our thoughts. Short live stream. We're going to answer a couple more questions. If you can do us a huge favor and drop a like for us.
Like that?
Do you?
Like that?
Do you like it? The emergency
like
stream.
it?
Do us a huge favor. Drop a like. With 37 people watching, we should be able to get to 25 likes or so. Appreciate the love as we're prepping for our supporters only live stream right after this.
That's right.
Thanks, Steven. Appreciate you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, and hey, maybe we even do another one of these tomorrow, depending on what time that the Deshaun Watson news breaks out.
Sure.
The expectation.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the signs, 4 to 8 weeks is looking like, that with everything coming out, it doesn't look like he's gonna miss the whole season. So
what I wanted to do quickly is just compare these contracts side by side. These last 3 guys who have gotten paid. So Deebo, he gets the 50. How much guaranteed? 58.1,
58.2,
58.2 guaranteed for DK. So it's interesting that he got less, and then 53 guaranteed for Terry. So Terry actually gets. Oh wow, Terry got less guarantee. Okay.
How much did Terry get paid in total though?
Terry got 3 years, 68.
Okay, so he was the highest.
No, he was the lowest. Lowest
Wait.
guarantee, lowest total.
Let me just look it up. So DK, sorry, because it's
Which is
confusing
interesting.
watching on your screen. So okay, so DK got 72. Debo got what again? 73, and then Terry got one more time.
68.
68. Okay.
Yeah,
That
and
makes
let me
sense.
ask you, looking at your dynasty rankings, we'll look at dynasty redraft rankings, and then we'll kind of end the stream here. Where do you currently have Debo? He's my wide receiver 11 in dynasty. I don't see a scenario in which this, because I expected him to resign, so I didn't hurt his rankings based off of him not being signed. Does it change anything for you?
No, I'm just pulling up my rankings here. I think I have him 10 or 11 as well, actually.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I have him wide receiver 11. DK definitely goes up because I did have him significantly lower, and I think that was because I didn't know what the contract extension was going to look like if he was going to go to another bad team. He was my 10. Now he's back to really he only moves up one spot, which was my 9. I have all these other people like Jalen Waddle, the Cooper Cubs, AJ Brown, T Higgins, et cetera, all above DK. So he only moves up one spot because Chris Godwin did move down in my rankings.
Yeah. Cool.
But I mean, even
redraft.
then, he can
Let's
be
talk
going back
redraft for 1 second. I have Debo as my wide receiver 9.
Redraft.
You have Debo as your.
Sorry, I need to bring that up as well.
That's okay.
Give me 1 second, guys. Debo, I have him as my wide receiver 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We wanted to go quick, live really quick. We're about to do a supporter-only live stream for people who support us on YouTube and on Patreon. So we're gonna go do that now. But we wanted to quickly go live, give our thoughts, answer some of your questions. So huge love. Thanks for joining us. If you can do us a massive favor, drop a like on your way out, and this will stay up for everyone to watch whenever they can. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Lots of live streams tomorrow and mock drafts. See you then.